David, I guess just from last Worlds to this Worlds, the college team, the RTC, has it all gone, I guess, as you expected, just thinking back to the year that was? How was your first year here?
Yeah, it's been good. It's productive. I think just we laid out a plan when we first got down here, and every day we're just working to try and execute that. Still trying to get better every day, and made a lot of improvements in a lot of areas. It was a lot of people have started to really believe in Cowboy Wrestling and the Cowboy RTC. I think we kind of laid out an RTC plan a year ago, and it seemed a little foreign to some. But I think now they're starting to understand the importance of that, and just giving kids the opportunity to be world champions. Getting a world champion in the room, that's pretty cool.
When you look back on your debut season, what stands out the most to you?
Oh, I think just what stands out the most. Yeah, I just think it's just the buy-in. I think it's from everybody. I think it's just the excitement. You could see as each dual meet went by, just the more and more excitement that was generated in the program. And you get to the conference tournament, you get to the national tournament, and I think for us and in life that we choose and to be trying to be the best and pursue the best in wrestling, there is no real off season. The national tournament ends in March and you're into the RTC, and then the world championships end and you're back into the college. And but that's what it takes. That's like the commitment that we have to our student athletes and the people that are choosing to train here. So a lot of really good memories, but I'd say the biggest thing is just the buy-in and the excitement around our program.
This team's going to look quite a bit different from last year's with so many guys graduated. Just what do you like about the group that you've assembled for year two?
Yeah, we had 7 seniors last year, and just those guys are going to never be, that first group. I remember just with senior night, just kind of thinking about those guys walking out and you seeing them and their parents, and it's a really memorable time because that's that first group that you coached and just the impact they had. And I thought we just had we really had a great year. Now with this group, this is the group that we're bringing in. This is the really start to what we're building. Last year it's an integral, and every day was just trying to help those guys get better. And now these guys are going to be part of our program for a really long time. And I think that's really exciting. A lot of excitement.
Going along with that, this is a really good freshman class. How do you sort of go about red shirts, getting dates in? Do you have guys in mind that you want to red shirt? Do you have guys in mind that you think are going to wrestle right away? Just sort of where are you on that?
That is a great question. We talk about it a lot, and we got to constantly work through those things, and we'll figure that. You guys will know when we know.
Were there learning moments in your first year that will change maybe how you approach this year?
Oh, yeah. It's just a completely different group of kids. You had those guys that have been around for college for quite a long time. With this group of kids, they're young, so just constantly just helping them lay out the plan and the vision of what we're trying to accomplish. And there's a lot of exciting things. That's what makes this job pretty exciting.
Brought in Kevin Ward, Lee Roper with RTC this summer. What kind of led to those decisions to pick those guys, and how have you seen them integrate with your team right now?
Yeah, I think you get down here and you think have a pretty good idea what it's going to look like, and obviously things change and evolve, and that's what it takes to be successful. You just as soon as you think you got it figured out, that's when you're getting passed up. So by no means do we have anything figured out. We're working on that. But I think those are guys that can really help improve a lot of things in our program. Kevin's, been a coach at Army for the last 10 or 11 years. I know I just asked him that, but long time. And he's built a program from scratch. Took a program like Army. It's a difficult place to coach. A lot of challenges, and he's done a great job there. And and he's from here. He went to school here. He knows what it takes. He was a part of national championship teams. So I think just working with Kevin has been awesome, and he just can really help me in a lot of areas that I need to continue to prove in outside of the wrestling room and outside of a lot of things that it takes to be successful. Lee is somebody that I've known for a long time. Been friends with Lee for a long time, and think about someone that can really help every day. Lee's thinking about how can I help make this the best RTC environment in the world, and that's what it needs. It's a everyday job to think about, and that's what That's what Lee's going to do, and he's just awesome the way he thinks about wrestling, and we just have surrounded ourselves with a lot of really good people, really good mentors, really good examples, and I think that's what it takes to be successful. These kids got to be surrounded by a lot of really good people, and feel really good about those guys.
Coach, you guys are going to hit the ground running with the national duels in the second week in November. How unique is this, and what can you learn from your program competing in something like that?
Yeah, we have a really challenging schedule this year, by design. With having a young team, we're gonna throw ourselves in the fire this year, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited, and we're gonna find out right away with Stanford. That's a tough team, right off the bat here, and how important it is. People talk about how can you help our program. I mean, we need to pack Gallagher, right off the bat. I mean, that's gonna be an awesome dual meet, and can really show how important wrestling is to this university by picking up the momentum that we had last year, breaking all the attendance records, and really setting the bar high right off the bat, Friday, November 7th. And then we use that as a great opportunity to get ready for national duels. And I just think the national duels is a really exciting concept. You have a limited amount of dates in the year to get a lot of really good competition in, and we can take 16 of the best teams in the country in over 2 days. I mean, what a great fan experience that is. I just believe it gives you as a fan two awesome things to think about. You have the national duels at the beginning of the year where you're going to see great wrestling, great dual meets, easy to follow, and then you get to finish with the best tournament in the world, the NCAA tournament. There's nothing like the NCAA tournament. I've been to them all, World Championships, Olympics. Nothing's like the NCAA tournament. The team component, just the opportunity to individually win national titles. Every point matters. The fan involvement. So I think really kind of set this schedule of start with the national tools, finish with the national tournament. And then you just bring so much excitement to on-campus duels, so much excitement. We were going to go out and we're going to scrap at the national duels, and we're going to wrestle some really good teams. And, I think we wrestled 7 of those teams this year in our regular schedule. So you think about just the excitement that it leads to whether they're home and we're filling this place or we're on the road and they're filling their place. I mean, that's just great for wrestling. So national duels is going to be a really good thing, and we're excited about it.
You were known for your fire and intensity when you were a wrestler. And, bringing in these new set of guys, how do you think you're going to translate that to a coaching perspective on the mat?
I think hopefully we bring a little fire and intensity when we're wrestling. That's what's fun about it. That's what we're doing. We're not going out there to try and just sneak a match and sneak a win. That's just not what we train to do, and that's not what we talk to our guys about. And it's every day just constantly helping them believe in themselves and believe in the program and what we're doing and what we're aspiring to do. What we're aspiring to do it's a hard thing. Winning a national title is a hard thing to do. It takes these guys believing in it and laying out a plan. We're going to go wrestle, and I really believe that we'll go wrestle with some fire. We'll compete for a full 7 minutes. Hopefully less, sometimes more, but 7 minutes is a good goal.
You talked about buy-in last year and kind of feeling that with how things went last year. Coming in this year, does it feel like a different buyout level or buy-in level just across the program this year than maybe when you first got here?
Yeah, I think as we come down here, there's just things you have to navigate that are, that are its own challenges. It was a big adjustment for a lot of people. Big adjustment for people that have been part of the program for a long time. It was a big adjustment for us. And you're trying to find your way. You're trying to find, you've been a part of some really awesome things. Been around a lot of great coaches, and you want to take a little bit from everybody. And meanwhile, you're trying to figure out how to do things in your own unique way. And I think now have a pretty good understanding of what the year looks like. And I really believe that there's just no place like Stillwater, Oklahoma, when it comes to wrestling. Just with its history and this challenge that we have ahead of us, just how awesome is that? How awesome is that? So every day is an opportunity to wake up and help these guys chase down some really cool goals, and as a program to chase down some really cool goals. And I think that's a contagious feeling. That's an exciting feeling, and it's not, and it spreads further than just this city and this town, the state of Oklahoma, and the whole country. We're converting Cowboy fans every single day, and it's a fun thing.
You mentioned the schedule. You last year when you got here, a lot of things were already kind of set in place. Is this schedule more like what you want to see going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that factor in when you're creating a schedule, and just I think this year this seems like a really good schedule for this team, and we'll factor in every year. I mean, there's one thing that I can tell you for certain. There's never a decision that we make without a lot of thought that goes into it and what we feel like is in the best interest of our program and the people part of it. So, this year being a challenging year, man, that's awesome. And I think as a competitor, if you're gonna you're coming here to chase down being the best in the world, be the best in the country, you want to wrestle the best people, you want to wrestle the best teams, and I believe that our schedule reflects that, and that there's going to be challenges associated with that, but man, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of really good things to stay present in the moment, and I believe that'll really prepare our team in March.
Yeah, go ahead.
We kind of talked about a little bit earlier about kind of how young this team is, and there's a lot of new guys. How are you getting them kind of entrenched into the prestige and culture of this town and this program when it comes to wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes in the recruiting process, and building relationships, with these kids and their families. And I think a common theme is, a lot of people are leaving a convenient location to chase down greatness. A lot of these kids are leaving hometowns that are closer to maybe other places, and there's a lot of these kids share a lot of common ground when it comes to that. I think every day they come in here, they're trying to be the best versions of themselves, and I think that's what's going to do the best thing for our program. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's it's been a lot of fun.
Is there anything you're changing coming into year 2 as a coach than that came in from year 1?
I don't know. It's probably for you guys to evaluate. I mean, we'll see, as we get out there. But, I mean, nothing's changed. We have 7 minutes, and we're going to go out and try and score as many points as we can and challenge these guys in as many situations as we possibly can, and that's what's going to reflect, and ultimately, the most success, that we can have. And that's the way that we're trying to bring that type of excitement and energy into practice, and that excitement, energy, and calmness, right, into competition. I think last year we wrestled in all of it. You felt the ups and you felt the downs. Gives really good perspective of things, but also this is a brand new team, So, I'm excited. I was super grateful and excited every day last year, and I feel the same this year going into the season.
This feels like a pretty deep team. Is that hard to do in a portal era, to have a team that's as deep as the one you've got right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it definitely is a challenge. If you look back on the history of wrestling and you think about the programs that have had the most success, depth was definitely a part of that. Every place that had success, had depth. But back in the day, once a kid signs, they're there for 4 or 5 years. So there's a lot of temptations that these kids are going to face on a daily basis, and the best thing that we can do is just show them that we care about them and, help them with a plan to be the best versions of themselves. And, people chose to come here because they believe in this place. And every day that's just going to continue to, I believe, be more prominent in their life. So we just got to focus on what we're doing and focus on helping these guys just be the best versions.
Dee Lockett, it's a local kid that people follow closely. What have you seen in the first year with him?
Yeah, Dee brings a lot of energy, enthusiasm, into practice, and his personality is someone that people really want to be around, and he's just got a lot of obviously has being from Stillwater, I think he's got a lot of people that really are going to cheer for him here in town, and he's going to pick up a lot of fans obviously as he continues to go out and wrestle, and just continue to encourage him to be himself and go out and go kick butt. That's the plan.
What's it like being reunited with Zack, and are you still seeing that passion and that willingness to work hard that you saw when you recruited him back in the day?
Yeah, well, Zack wrestled in my club, when he was younger, and he's just got a kind of kid that's pretty much always has a smile on his face, and he's still developing a lot of skills. He's been a really strong kid and has had a lot of success, and now he's getting I think he's really learning how to wrestle, in a lot of different situations, and he's always asking questions, sometimes a little bit too many questions. But I think it's because he really cares and he's trying to get better, So those are really fun kids to try and help.
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned from year 1 going into year 2?
I mean, I don't know if it's a lesson, but I mean, just you just got to keep things in perspective. You know, you just can't let the emotion of one day lead to the next day, whether it's the athlete or the coach, or from one match to the next match. You're at the national tournament, and you have this like awesome feeling, and then instant heartbreak, and then you got to reset, boom, right in the next match, right? You can't let one moment can't lead in the next, and as coaches, we got to be present with these guys every day and every second. They're going to be surrounded by a lot of external factors, in the way they think and the way they do. So as coaches, we have to be a really common, sturdy piece to their life, and that's just what we're trying to do every day.
Marshall asked about depth. Are there a couple of weight classes that you're looking at your depth and just kind of excited to see how it's going to play out because you maybe don't really know who's going to be the one that pulls to the forefront in that class?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have some weights that are going to be a little more competitive than others, but we want a room where guys are challenging each other all the time. I think that's ultimately going to get the best out of everybody, and then we'll just keep getting better.
Is the lineup starting to emerge for you a little bit? We got to wrestle on the 7th of November.
Yeah, we'll have 10 guys out there November 7th, and we'll see. I mean, it's in their control. I mean, it is. All that is in these guys' control. It's the way that they live their life. It's the way they wrestle. It's not about just winning a match in the room. It's about how do you compete in front of the people out there, and how do you compete when the team, needs you to go score bonus points. I think there's a lot of factors that go into who wrestles, and every day you wrestle, it's just an opportunity to go build your reputation. You got 7 minutes to score, and that's the expectation that we want from these guys, and they know that. So, there's a lot of factors that go into things. You just got to stay ready all the time, and, have a lot of pride when you go out and compete, and wrestle with a lot of passion. I think that's what we're asking out of these guys.
A guy like Konner Doucet looks completely different than we all remember him. I mean, he's really turned into looks like a solid heavyweight, and having wrestled behind wide for a whole year, I'm sure that helped him, right?
You like his muscles?
Yeah. Sure.
No, I mean, I think Konner, he had a great opportunity last year to wrestle with Wyatt, and it's a good example of like a guy that could have taken the easy way out, and he didn't. He learned from the best guy in the country, arguably one of the best guys in the world, and Konner's taking this opportunity this year, and he's making the most of it. He's been a guy that I've had a lot of really honest conversations with, and I think every day just he's getting better and better and believing more and more, and he's made a lot of. His body looks different, and his commitment level to wrestling is different than what it's been before, and it's been really exciting. He's a guy that I believe he's got a great opportunity this year to go out and compete at a very high level, and it's going to be on him. I kind of tell him, like, hey, if you want to go out there and wrestle a 2-to-1 match, well, you're going to do that, and you're probably going to win them more times than you're going to lose, but that's a challenging way to go out and compete your last year. He has the ability to go score, more points, and that's something that he's working on, and he's definitely making it more of a priority. So, yeah, really excited for Konner this year, and just the opportunity that he has to go out and compete, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
How do you kind of decide what areas to use the portal in and what areas you like the development of guys you've already got in the room? As I mentioned, that can be pretty tough.
Well, I think the portal is an extension of recruiting, right? I mean, I think you see it across all sports. When you get down here and you haven't been part of a program for a decade, where you've recruited guys in and year out, it's a way that you can fill some areas that you feel like you need some fill. Whether it's from a guy that's gonna be wrestling or depth or all of those things. But my philosophy is to recruit and develop. That's what I want to do. Things evolve, and to be competitive at the highest level, you have to stay up with the times. But I think we're bringing guys in that fit what we want to do, the way we want to wrestle, and the mentality that it's going to take to be successful. And that's our plan. But just got to evaluate it year by year.
I want to switch gears on you and ask you a question about Chad Weiberg. He has a very important hiring in football coming up. What was your hiring process like? How did he sell Oklahoma State? It probably wasn't hard, but how did he sell Oklahoma State to you? And how secretive was he during the talks and such?
I mean, I think we're lucky to have an athletic director that really believes in wrestling. So it was exciting to get the opportunity to come here and be part of a prestigious program, a place that can win at the highest level and has won in its past. So that was a lot of it. And I'm not familiar in football. I'm excited for who's going to come in next, and it's got a great opportunity to have a lot of success in Stillwater. So I know he's looking through that stuff, and I'm really confident in him to bring in who he thinks is going to be the best fit. So being an athletic director in today's world it's a challenge. You got a lot of challenging things that you got to do, and I think he's doing a great job and really focused on we're trying to bring excellence to Stillwater, and really grateful.
We talked a little bit about the strength of schedule earlier in this presser, but kind of what is a matchup that you have circled as a big one for the fans to look out for and for you guys to prepare for in this upcoming season?
I mean, you can't miss this year. I mean, whether it's just we have a good schedule. Right now it's November 7th. Let's set the tone. We talked about last year having 10,000 people come to a duel, and people kind of laughed at me like, yeah, that's not going to happen, and we did it. We averaged 7,500 people a match. I expect to, we challenge everybody again, challenge the fans. Let's do it right off the bat. Let's go fill this place and set the tone for the rest of the year, and we should be excited for every match. Every match we should be excited for. We get 7 home matches to watch this team go compete against the best competition in the country. Man, we're pretty blessed, and so let's just go out there and get started and take one match at a time.